Change, they say, is the only constant phenomena that must occur in every sphere of life. Considering health trends as we've seen in recent times, especially in the sub-Saharan region of Africa, you no doubt agree with me that change is very necessary in the healthcare industry. But then, how can we achieve this change that we are talking about? Some people in other quarters have said the so much desired change must start from you and myself. Good evening, viewers and friends out there. Thanks for joining us once again. My name is Dr. Ogenekere Ogidigbe, and it is with all pleasure that I welcome you to your #1 health show on West African TV. Lifeline, reaching you from the Lagos Network Center of the NTA2, starts right now. Talking about change, I found it very necessary to take a break from all the disease topics, Lassa fever, Ebola, tuberculosis, and what have you, to talk about a topic that affects you and myself as individuals, and then the whole country, and indeed sub-Saharan region of Africa. And we are talking about change management in healthcare. Joining me to do justice to this all-important topic is a change manager with the Lagos Business School based here in Lagos, and a research consultant, if you permit me to use that word. I'm talking about Glory Einaya. You're welcome to the show, Glory.
Thank you very much, Kawe.
Well, change is not a topic that many will say has to do with health, but we know that change is necessary in every industry, as it were. Today, our emphasis is on change when it has to do with healthcare. So, put us through quickly what it means to manage change, and what are the different types of change that people should expect, especially when it comes to the healthcare industry.
Okay, thank you. So, one of my favorite quotes is from Winston Churchill, former Prime Minister of Britain, and he said that to improve is to change, and to be perfect is to change often. So basically what it means is that in the search for continuous improvement, the management of change is completely essential, and it's something that you definitely have to go through all the time. So coming back to your question about the different types of change occurs at different levels. So we have personal change, which has to do with the change that individuals go through, and we also have organizational change, which is the transition of organizations from their current state to their desired future state, and then we have the social change. So from a health perspective, I would say health touches on both personal change and organizational change. Why? Because in the bid to inculcate new habits and live healthier lives and take the advice of medical practitioners to improve their health, individuals generally have to pass through some kind of change process or the other. So that's personal change. And then organizations in the health industry, whether they be businesses or governments, also need to adapt themselves to the changing business and socio-economic terrain. So they also need to change. So I would say change in the health sector will cut across both personal change and organizational change.
Yes, very well said. Talking about personal change, when I was introducing, I had made a comment that the so much desired change we all want has to start from us. Now, change when it has to do with healthcare, a lot of individuals have personal habits, health habits that they want to change. Some people think they are overweight, they want to lose weight. That is some sort of change, changing from an overweight status to a healthy weight status.
Yeah.
Some people feel that they've been smoking for too long and they've heard so many bad things about smoking. They want to change, they want to stop that habit, but they are not able to. And there are other examples when it has to do with personal healthcare stories of habits that people want to change. What should people know? How should they go about becoming successful when it comes to changing of health-related habits?
Okay, so generally there's according to the ProSci methodology, there's a change process that individuals can go through when they want to enact some kind of change in their personal or professional lives. It's called the ADKAR process. A stands for awareness, D stands for desire, K stands for knowledge, A stands for ability, and R stands for reinforcement.
ADKAR.
ADKAR, exactly, okay. ADKAR. So the first...
We have a graphic of that. We expect that to come on anytime soon. But so you were saying...
Okay, so the first stage, would, which is awareness, is of course, you even need to realize that there's a need for change. So using as an example... the person that wants to lose weight,
yes.
The example obviously the person would as the person puts on weight and moves from being normal weight to overweight to being obese, the person is likely to get feedback from friends, family, and eventually come to a state of awareness that okay, at this stage of my life, I need to lose weight.
So there's that awareness,
you actually build that awareness, and that awareness comes through communication. So yeah, so it could be that, and so once the first stage is becoming aware of the need for the change. Then second stage is desire. So you might know that you're too big, but you don't want to change because it's too much work, or it requires too much effort, or you have other projects and you're not really ready to face that, or you could even be in denial and you go like, this is not as big a deal as people are trying to make it. So which is why you now need to move from awareness to desire. And what usually brings about desire is when someone in a superior position, maybe a higher authority, could be your boss, it could even be that you go to the hospital for a checkup, and then your doctor, who is someone that is in a position of authority, comes and tells you if you don't lose weight in 6 months.
Go through it again. Okay. Awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement.
Exactly.
Now you had rightly said that awareness had to do with knowing in the first place, because a lot of people are in bad health circumstances and they don't even know. So they need to be aware, otherwise they will not be able to change. Now this graphic saying, will I ever change? So for you to change, you first of all need to be aware. And then even for some of those who are already aware, you are now saying that, do they even have the desire to change?
Absolutely.
So you were saying?
Absolutely. So like I said, that desire usually comes across when maybe you go to the hospital and then you have a comprehensive checkup, and then your doctor says you're morbidly obese, and then of course the first thing that comes to your mind is morbidity has to do with death. So does that mean if I don't do anything about my weight, I'm likely to run into a number of health challenges that might cost me my life? So you tend to move from awareness to desire, because you've been motivated by higher authority. You've been motivated by higher authority to desire that change. That now builds in a desire. So that's for desire.
Okay.
The next, when you want to change, the next step is you need to know how to change. So which is where the medical practitioner could come in. They could help you change. I think when it comes to weight loss, there are two specific metrics that are important: your diet and your exercise.
When it comes to weight loss,
yes, as an example, since that's the example we're using.
Because I mean the ladies love it a lot, especially. But now weight loss is something that has even cut across. You understand? And you're trying to give two modalities that people should know when it comes to weight loss. Well, we have a graphic there talking about different levels of people even wanting to change. And someone says I won't do it, so they don't have the desire, isn't it? Someone has a desire and they say I can do it, then it goes to I want to do it. How do I do it? I'll try to do it, I can do it again, and then eventually they get to do it. So you were moving on with the ADKAR stages.
Methodology, yes. Okay. So moving on to knowledge, that's where the medical personnel comes in and then explains, okay, you need to change your diet, substitute the burgers and the fast food for veggies and healthy food and those kind of things. And then your habits, so you need to change your sedentary habits and start working out more and start going on regular exercise, incorporating it into your lifestyle, so it becomes a lifestyle.
And that's
change.
What they need to know.
Yes.
In terms of knowledge.
Yes. They also probably need to know in order for them to make healthy food choices, they need to know the calorie content of what they're eating. So for instance, there are several apps online that could help. You know, if people want to find out the calorie content, so that they can make informed choices about what to eat. Don't just throw things in the mouth.
Yeah,
so
talking about calorie content, you're talking about energy content, isn't it?
Yes.
And in layman terms, what you eat that will lead to adding of weight, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
That energy.
Yeah.
So they need to know. Well, you were talking about the burger and veggies.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you talk about food choices, as it has to do with weight loss, people need to make healthy food choices, isn't it?
Exactly.
And burgers, I love burgers. You understand, but that's where desire has to come into play, isn't it?
So
you need to have that desire to
change.
resist that beefy burger and go for carrots, as we have here on the screen.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And all of this, we are talking about change, viewers and friends out there. How do you change that personal habit that can make you live longer than perhaps some people say your enemies would want you to live? But certainly, if we want change when it comes to the general organizational levels, indeed the healthcare industry, the change has to start from us. And Glory Inaya here, a research manager and change consultant, has been talking about some of the processes that we can adopt if we must change personally, especially as it has to do with healthy living. Now, you have talked about
knowledge, awareness.
You are talking about awareness, desire,
knowledge,
and then knowledge.
So
what people need to know. What next?
Ability. Okay. So it's one thing to know what you have to do. It's another thing to be able to put that knowledge into practice. So which is where you need coaching. So at the point where you've been told the calorie content of the food you eat, and then you're about to take something that is not good for you, and you immediately know, okay, I need to call my medical coach, I need to call my GP, and let this person know what I'm about to do, so that person can motivate me to stop. So that ability, because it's head knowledge, needs to be translated into actual ability. So it's a gradual process. You first start by taking baby steps, but then with appropriate coaching and mentoring, it could be sustainable.
Mentoring from not just the doctor in this case, isn't it?
Yes, so probably a health consultant, yes, and an accountability partner, just an accountability partner. So
what do you mean when you say accountability partner now?
An accountability partner is someone that helps keep you on the straight and narrow. Okay. So someone it could be someone in the medical. Well, it could be someone in the medical field. It could also be a friend or family
who
or
you
someone.
Trust and you can go back to.
Exactly, and who helps make sure you don't deviate from the norms and the resolutions you've made.
Well, viewers and friends out there, indeed, there's so much desired change must start from you and I. Now, we have a research manager and a change consultant who has been talking about the things we need to do if we must change personally. Now, if you have personal questions, you can reach me on social media and you'll be sure to have your answers back. My Facebook handle and my Twitter handle have been flashing. And then you go facebook.com/Dr. Kere, and you can also reach me via Twitter at Dr. Kere. So we keep the conversation going right after the show. Now, Glory, we have talked about personal change.
But we're not done there. There's reinforcement.
Reinforcement.
Yes.
Tell us about reinforcement.
So, once you've been able to change and you've reached the specific level of the weight, for instance, your target weight, your target BMI, you've moved from probably obese to overweight back to normal. The job isn't, it seems like the job is done, but the job isn't
quite done. They've lost the weight, they've stopped smoking,
exactly.
They've stopped excessive alcohol.
Exactly. And they want to celebrate, but the job isn't quite done yet. You need to reinforce the change so that it becomes a lifestyle habit. And that could be done in many ways.
Okay.
So if it's a weight loss, you could reward yourself for your achievement by maybe changing your wardrobe or just giving yourself something that celebrates the achievement.
That achievement, you succeeded
in changing.
Changing from that bad lifestyle to a healthier lifestyle.
So yes, so change is actually one of the most difficult things to.
The reward shouldn't be ice creams, like a 4-liter bucket of ice cream, should it?
Definitely not. That would be counterproductive.
It will be counterproductive. Yes.
Definitely not. Okay. So yeah, so through the reinforcement could even come externally. So it could be positive feedback. People around you go like, "Wow, you look great," and then that could help to spur you on to maintain
like
and make it
exactly. You want to stay that way.
Exactly, and you don't have to revert to your old ways, so that the change becomes part of the new you, and it becomes the old you becomes a thing of the past.
Well, having talked about personal change, and like I rightly said, the change has to begin from us. Now, one individual plus another individual and many more individuals will make up an organization. Let's talk about change in healthcare organizations.
Okay.
Now, though we want to talk about organizational change, it affects individuals. People, clients walk into hospitals, you know, and expect that things should be done a particular way, or they are used to things being done a particular way, and all of a sudden something changes, you understand, in the way that thing is done. Now, the way I understand it, the patients need to be carried along. You know, viewers out there listening probably walk into a hospital where they would usually stay for 10 minutes to be attended to, and then the hospital management has changed some protocols without carrying the patients along. Now, instead of 10 minutes, they find out that they are staying 1 hour. You know, in another instance, we are talking about it, pricing. Pricing is very important to a lot of people. So people come to the hospital, and just to check your malaria parasite used to be 10 kobo, for instance. Now you realize that all of a sudden it has turned to 20 naira. Now, what should be done to be able to effect some kind of necessary change? And just truly, we see that well, to be fair to some of the organizations, we know what's going on with the dollar now and all of that. So if to check malaria parasite was 10 kobo before and it's increased to 20 kobo, I mean, you won't blame that organization. But what should be done so that the clients out there, you know, which include you and myself, for example, and the viewer listening, what should be done so that they can be carried along properly? What should organizations do so that this change can be effected in a manner that is appreciated by all and sundry?
Okay, so organizational change, there are several models on how to manage organizational change, and but I have a proprietary model or methodology which I came up with, which begins with an acronym for it will be SIMPLER, SIMPLER, and then I'll explain what each of the each word means.
Quickly, because time is always not enough.
Okay, so we have stakeholder assessment. So in the first phase, you need to find out stakeholders are people that are impacted by and who are capable of influencing the success of a project. So you identify who your internal and external stakeholders are. So beginning at the top, the sponsors, people that are driving the change, then as well as the advocates. So you need to appoint change agents or members of a change network who are planted within an organization in order to stimulate the desire for change in the organization. Then you have the owners, who are the people that if it's a technology change, who are the people that actually enact the change, and then the targets, who are the end users, as you mentioned, the patients. So you identify all your stakeholders, you create a vision, a strong vision, you, if possible, give the project a brand, you know, so that something that's catchy and memorable, so that the change has an identity of its own, and then you mobilize your change agents, you know.
So whatever change that needs to be adopted in the healthcare industry has to have an identity of its own.
Well, ideally, and again, depending on the scope. So maybe, of course, if it's a social or an industry-wide change, you know, we've had samples of change initiatives in the past that had brands such as Operation Feed the Nation, War Against Indiscipline and Corruption.
Well, our time is fast spent, and like I said, it's always when you're about to get into the meat of the topic that we need to round up. viewers and friends out there, I'm sure that you have learned one thing or two. At least you know what steps to take to be able to effect personal change when it comes to your health decisions. And then when it comes to organizational change, you have rightly said stakeholders must be carried along, and this include not just the hospital management, the people trying to effect the change, but the clients as well, the patients, you and I, the viewers out there. Definitely. They must be carried along if we must effect proper change in the healthcare system in Nigeria. Well, I feel that's the most we can take on this episode of the program. We will ensure to invite you to come and continue on this change topic, because indeed we need real change when it comes to the Nigerian health sector. Viewers and friends out there, until we come your way same time next week, ensure to have a wonderful evening.